Doug, first question here.
Yeah, Nick, Doug Smith, the Toronto Star. All year you've talked about your team's even-keeledness and the way they keep level heads. Given the stage, is that even more a trait you need to see from them in the next 24 hours?
Yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of work to do, Doug. I mean, we got to keep some focus and improve on some things and make some adjustments and do the work, right? I think there's a lot of basketball to be played yet. Again, we try to ignore what the score in the series is and we get more concerned with making them one game series if we can.
Do you personally change your next 24 hours and how you prepare for a game against a team that's obviously as desperate as the Warriors are?
I don't think so. I mean, I got a lot of work to do yet. You know, I still keep reviewing, and we put our ideas together of what they may change personnel-wise or coverage-wise, or what they may run against, some things they see that they've added here, in the last game or game or two, and just keep mulling it over, until you get to decision time before the game tomorrow.
Arash?
Coach, Arash Madani with Sportsnet. Doug's a lot more collected than I am, so I'll ask further to that. Have you processed at all the idea that you're a win away from winning an NBA championship?
No, I just know we got to go win another game, and I've tried to do that all through the playoffs. Just look at the next game and go win it, and I imagine everything will take care of itself from there.
Do you find that the players have kind of embraced that too? There doesn't seem to be a lot of celebration after these wins.
No, they've been good, right? I think, again, our collective IQ, our experience, and our demeanor has been good after these games. We'll see tomorrow, but so far they've gone in after games and talked about continuing to work and improve. And there's still a lot of room for improvement, so we get another chance to do that tomorrow.
Jeff on the right side.
Jeff Zilgate, USA Today. Nick, you've been here for a little bit. And what does Alex McKechnie do that's so impressive to you? And is it something that you've never seen before from a sports science and training staff?
Well, it's certainly something I've never seen before. Again, I've never coached at this level where we've had this type of expertise, right? And from my standpoint, I'm not sure half the time I know what the hell he's doing. I just know that I trust him 100%, and he's got tremendous experience. He's innovative, and when he tells me guys are ready to go, I play them. And when he tells me guys aren't ready to go, I don't play them. If he tells me guys need to play 10-minute stretches, I do my best. I don't always do it. I do my best to keep it at 10 and under. Whatever he is, I just that's the level of trust that I think I'm lucky to have. I mean, it's not fun trying to guess who can play, who can't play, or whatever, and we just leave that up to him and his staff.
Brian in the middle.
Brian Mahoney, Associated Press. From where you guys were in the last round, almost down 3-0, in which case maybe we're not here right now, to winning, 7 of 8 against two of the best teams in basketball now is obviously a pretty incredible run. Is there anything you could have, when you got through that game 3, where you could have said, okay, now we're about to take off? Was there any signs that your best basketball or such good basketball was coming?
I don't know specifically from that game. I felt that one of the times I felt really good in this playoff run was game 1 at Milwaukee, which we lost. We just hit that dramatic buzzer beater to advance. We got on the plane the next day and had to play less than 48 hours after that. And I thought we came out and played unbelievably tough. The ball didn't bounce our way that night. We didn't get any breaks, but I thought we outplayed them for the course of the game. And then when we went down 2 to them, our guys were like, we're okay, let's just get back home and get one, and we'll get this thing turned around. So that's probably a moment of where I thought the team had something inside them to keep on going. But again, I think they've put down a foundation of defense. And I think if your team puts down a foundation of defense that they're going to try to bring each night, you put yourself in position to win most nights.
Tim in the back right.
Nick, Tim Reynolds with the Associated Press. Two things. One, I even though as you try to stay locked in this cocoon of going through your film and going through all those things that you want to do before tomorrow night, there's stories about Let's Go Raptors chants breaking out on planes, landing in Toronto. There's been Let's Go Raptors chants at the Canadian Open. What is that, when you hear those things, what does that mean for what you guys have already done? And secondly, a lot got made the other night about when your guys walked off the floor at Oracle. It was like stone face walking into the locker room. Does this team still impress you with the amount of focus that it's had?
So the first one, I always, again, learn all this stuff when I come to press conferences. I don't hear much about any of that stuff. The only thing I saw when I got to my condo building last night, they had a thing in the elevator of, they all took a big picture. They had a watch party in our condo building and had a little thing in the elevator, so I wouldn't miss that. So, but yeah, I think the focus part has been impressive, necessary. I think they know we can't get someplace before it gets here, right? And you got to put in the work to do it.
Greg in the back left.
Greg Logan of Newsday. From a media perspective, Kawhi is a very low-key, downbeat type of guy. From a coaching perspective, what has been the key for you to developing the relationship with him this year that, is critical to this franchise?
Well, again, he's a real professional. I've stated this before, is that when I speak in the meetings or when I speak in a film session or when I speak in a huddle, he's always looking at me, and a lot of times he's nodding his head. And I've always said, for a rookie head coach, that makes you feel okay, right? When a guy like him is actually looking and sometimes agreeing with what you're saying. And as far as developing a relationship, I mean, he's about business. He puts in a work day that's incredible, from all facets of getting himself ready to play. I'm pretty much a non-BS guy. We talk basketball, talk how he feels health-wise, and keep it pretty simple.
Last question, Mark on the right.
Nick, Mark Schwartz, ESPN. I know you've seen or heard about the stone-faced looks that your guys had, every single one of them, and I know you talk about basketball IQ, but what is it that, does Kawhi set a tone like that, or do you set a tone like that? Every single guy was not smiling.
Well, Kawhi certainly sets that tone, but so does Kyle, so does Mark, so does Danny. There's four guys, and then I think the younger guys take the cue from them. They're all just I think they like playing together. I think they know there's work to be done, and I just think they just know there's not a whole lot of energy to spend on celebrating before time, and let's hope we understand that. We're gonna see tomorrow night. I mean, we've handled it so far, and let's see if we can handle it again.
Thank you, Coach. Kawhi Leonard will be up next. First question over here on the left side.
Hey, Kawhi, Trista Crick, USA Today. There's been a lot of talk about staying focused in the moment, locking in game to game, but as human beings, it's incredibly difficult to not think about the future. How do you personally stay present? What's your process?
Just stay in the same routine and just focus on what's in front of me, really. Obviously, like you said, as human beings, we do think in the future. Been thinking in the future since, the beginning of the season, just trying to get to this point. But you just got to stay current and stay in your routine, be patient, and don't rush anything.
Tim in the back right.
Kawhi, Tim Reynolds with the Associated Press, back here. You were on, of course, the Spurs team in 13 that was up 3-2. Then you guys were up 3-1. You closed it out in 14. Obviously, you have a chance to close out now. The fact that you've been in this situation a few times, is there anything that's different about a finals closeout game than trying to close one out in the first 3 rounds?
Obviously, you're playing against a better team, championship team. That's pretty much the only difference of it. Other than a regular playoff game, you're just playing against a better team at that point in time.
Davide on the right side.
Kawhi, Davide Chinellato, Gazzetta Italy. Canada's getting crazy about the Raptors, and you're one win away from doing something historic like winning a championship. Do you guys embrace this frenzy game taken around you, or you're keeping them out just to stay focused on the game?
I think we've been embracing it this whole time. Just enjoying the support and the energy that they're bringing to the team. And, with that being said, it's just, they help us stay focused on in a moment, and we just got to be patient. Don't rush anything. And stay focused on what we're doing. Just take it a minute at a time.
Standing over here on the left side.
Kawhi, Lucas Meyer, News Talk 1010 Toronto. Kawhi, there was some speculation earlier this week that you had purchased property in the city. I'm just curious if you wanted to clarify if in fact that actually occurred.
No, it didn't. It didn't happen yet. No.
And just one follow up, and then for the game tonight, for the game tomorrow, excuse me. Do you feel you guys an opportunity to close out at home Game 5 without going back to Oakland? Do you guys feel as a unit any kind of internal pressure to get it done here, avoid going back to Oakland? Or is that more of a kind of an externality that the conversation about pressure is something that doesn't really, get into the room, if you will?
It is pressure with every game, but I don't think it's any added pressure to it. We still got to go out there and, play a basketball game. Whatever game or significance of the game or time, you always, either want to play great defense or make a shot. So it's pretty much just a title over it right now, and just go out and play it, enjoy it, and whatever happens, we'll see the results.
Arash on the left side.
Kawhi, Arash Madani from Sportsnet to your left. Because your season, you played so few games last year, the fact that you're now in the finals and been part of this run, does that individually, personally make that sweeter for you?
Yeah, the year I had last year and then just be able to play in the finals this year has been great. But, I've been happy just being able to return back to basketball at the beginning of the regular season. And it's, pretty much something that, I look back on of not being able to play, and now I'm able to play. So it's just like, to me, just enjoy this while you're here, because you never know when, those times will come. You're not going to be able to play or you get injured. So that's what my mindset, really comes from, and, what made me grow as a player. Because those are the worst times in, basketball. It's not losing games or, missing shots. It's about you being able to play or not on the floor. This is what we grew up our whole lives to, or I grew up my whole life wanting to do, is to play in the NBA. And, when that's taken away, it's terrible.
Standing on the left side.
Kawhi, Alex Wong, Yahoo Sports. You've talked a lot in the playoffs about not caring about individual stats and more about team wins. I'm wondering, after a game, when you're looking at a box score in this series, what are the stats you're looking at that jumps out to you to tell you that the team's played a good game?
I'm looking at rebounds, turnovers, and field goal percentage for each team. And, obviously points in the paint, and just seeing, what was the runs. That's pretty much it. But the big three things that I look at is turnovers and rebounds and field goal percentage.
Michael here on the left.
Michael Grange from Sportsnet. Just going back to your mindset and things, were you always able to stay present, or was that sort of a skill you've developed over your career? And maybe what did you do? What were your role models, if that was the case?
I kind of, just growing up playing basketball, pretty much. Like I always say, just learning from, past experience, past games that I lost, games that I won, seeing what I felt like or what I was thinking at those specific times, and just bringing it back to, current day reality, the moment that I'm in, and, making sure I could use, the things that were good and delete the things that were bad to, help me be more successful.
When did you feel like you'd really kind of reached a good level at that? Like when did you kind of feel like mentally you'd sort of reached a high level in that ability?
Yeah, I'm still trying to get better every day today with it. Either with basketball or off the floor. It's an everyday battle.
Mark on the right side.
Kawhi, Mark Schwartz, ESPN. You can't blame players when they get excited and celebrate in the middle of a big victory. And you guys had 2 epic wins in Oracle. But after Game 4, you all marched off, and anyone who watched that would have thought you guys had been defeated. How is it possible that all 15 of you could all have that same expression that looked like maybe you lost the game instead of won it?
I think it's just we're focused. We know that it doesn't mean anything until it's someone that has 4 wins. You never know what could happen, and you got to take advantage of it, and don't get overly hyped and excited. Still a great basketball team on the other side, and I think that was our mindset. We had a goal going out there, and we accomplished it, and now we have to do it in possible 3 games. Got to win 1.
Thank you, Kawhi. Kyle will be next. Doug, first question here on the left side.
Kyle, Doug Smith, the Toronto Star. Where do you think your team's collective sense of calm comes from?
Probably Kawhi, Nurse, just Danny, Mark. I think we just had a bunch of guys that are in the moment, understanding that, we're just going to keep playing and keep working. Just kind of just been like this all year, to be honest.
Is it hard to keep it given the circumstances and the stakes and where you are?
Not when you've been doing it all year. Not when it's your team. It's what we've done all year. Like no one's, even in training camp, it wasn't like talking trash. It was like let's come in and get our work in and work and boom, 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 and let's get out of here. Let's work and get going.
Steve, all the way back left here.
Kyle, Steve Simmons, Toronto Sun. We've had a lot of conversations at the beginning of seasons about what your goals have been, and the word championship always comes into them. After this many years and being this close to where you are, what does this feel like?
We ain't do nothing yet. We haven't done anything. We still got to get 1 more wins to first to 4. You got champions coming in here, and they're going to play their butts off and play extremely hard. So for us, we still got to just focus on us and take it 1 possession at a time.
Back right.
Tim Reynolds with the AP. Kyle, do you expect KD to play? And if he does give it a go, how do you think that could mean? He hasn't played in a month, so how do you think that could impact things if he is out there?
I don't know. I don't know. And two, if he plays, he's an MVP. He's an All NBA player. He's an All Star, Finals MVP. He's really, really talented, really, really good. But we can't focus on that. We have to focus on ourselves, and that's one thing we've done all playoffs is kind of focus on ourselves and go out there and play how we need to play, and grind it out and do what we need to do as a team.
Michael, over here.
Michael Grange, Sportsnet. This idea of staying in the moment, does it come naturally to you? Did it come naturally to you? Have you improved through your years as a pro at doing that?
Yeah, it definitely improved through the years as a pro, but every day isn't given to you. You wake up every day, you just be happy. You wake up every day, and people ask me how I'm doing. I say I'm great. I'm alive, and that's kind of the staying in the moment thing that I've always lived by. So yeah, it wasn't hard to do. It's just we just kind of made that the forefront of our team.
Back over here.
Kyle, Trista Crick, USA Today. Just want to kind of, sounds like gratitude keeps you in the moment. Is that right?
Just being alive. I'm here playing basketball for a living. I'm healthy. Kids are healthy. Family's good. Life's pretty good.
And then can you just speak to the definition of pressure, what you think of when you hear that, what it means to you?
What my mom had to go through, and my grandmama had to go through, feeding myself, my brother, my cousin, my little cousins, my other little cousins, going to work, getting up at 5 in the morning and getting up and going to work and making me cereal, having a bowl of cereal, sitting in the refrigerator with some milk and being able to provide for me and my brother and my family. That's pressure. That's pressure to me. And just the willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that your kid will see better than what you've ever seen. And getting up and taking public transportation an hour and a half away. And people like that are, heroes to me, and just going to work and grinding and doing whatever it takes to provide for your family and, protect who you have to protect.
Mark on the right side.
Kyle Mark Schwartz, ESPN. Before Kawhi and Danny and Marc Gasol and Nick Nurse, this was a very different organization emotionally.
Yeah.
What would that group have been like following 2 wins at Oracle, and how much is the fact that you guys didn't even celebrate at all, apparently, how much does that make you more equipped for what you're trying to do?
I think what the other group, we wouldn't have been happy, but, it would have been, it is what it is. Like, a little bit, maybe a smile or two, but with now, we're just been like this all year. Like, kind of just like, we haven't done anything. Like, you don't do anything in this league unless you win the trophy. You can accomplish this or that, but at the end of the day, we have certain goals and standards that we want to reach. And I think that's the one thing that we've all kind of just like, listen, our end goal would be a championship. And that's what we've been working for all year.
Alex, standing on the left here.
Yeah, Kyle, Alex Wong, Yahoo Sports. After games, a lot of players looking at the box score to check what happened in the game. As a point guard of the team in this series, when you're looking at a box score after a game, what stat are you looking for individually and for the team?
Individually, just kind of what I've done, rebounds, what I shot from the floor, maybe. We're in such a good age nowadays where you just look up and you can see what's going on in your stats, so you don't have to look at the box score as much. But as a team, you look at points off of turnovers, transition points, second chance points is one thing I look at. Rebounding, I think that's one thing that I always look at to see where the game was, and you can't really tell the game from the stat sheet, but you can see what's going on. Free throw line, free throw attempts. So there's a lot of different mixture of things.
Right here in the front.
Mr. Lowry,
Yes.
how does it feel to be an icon all over Canada to kids?
I'm not a. That's a crazy question. I ain't never been asked that one. I don't know. I put it this way, man. I was once a kid. I was once in your shoes, and to be able to know kids one day will want to be like me. I hold myself to a super high standard, and I want you to see. I want kids, and I want you to see a man that's really professional, really about his business. But at the same time, he's still fun and loving at everything else.
Davide, last
Crazy question right there, boy. You
Last
can't
question on the right
beat
side.
that question. You can't beat that question. You can try, but you can't beat that question.
What question?
What you got?
Yeah. Okay, my question is about Canada fans getting crazy about you guys. Do you guys embrace that feeling, or you're trying to keep them out because, as you said, you haven't done anything yet?
I think fans around the world and our fans, I think 93 was the last time, they've had a chance to, I don't know, was the Montreal Expos still, they had two teams at the time, but, they had a team to celebrate across the country. I understand where they're coming from. We want them to be excited. We want them to be happy. We want them to be, energetic. But, we still got work to do. Thank you, guys.
Great question.
Okay, we'll take questions for Coach Kerr. All right, right over here, please.
Steve, Nick Friedel, ESPN. Is Kevin any closer to being able to play tomorrow?
He's going to practice with us today, and he'll get some extra work in with some of our younger players, and we'll gauge it from there.
Are you more hopeful than you have been the last couple of days?
Yeah, because he hasn't done what he's going to do today. He hasn't done. So he's doing more today, and then we'll know more after that.
Over this side again.
Coach Trista Crick, USA Today. We spoke with Kyle, and he talked a little bit about how his life adversity keeps him present on the moment, just through gratitude. For you, how do you particularly stay focused moment to moment?
Well, I agree with Kyle. We play basketball for a living, or coach for a living. We're among the luckiest people on earth. I don't know if that was Kyle's angle, but that's how I approach things. It's all perspective. So we are incredibly lucky to live the lives that we do and to be here competing for an NBA championship. And so when you talk about pressure and daunting tasks and all that, just look around the world. We're doing all right, and we're lucky, and we know how lucky we are. So you got to keep everything in perspective.
And next question in the middle.
Ann Killian, San Francisco Chronicle. Hi, Steve. Can you give us a sense of just what your team's mindset has been in the last 24 hours, the vibe you got from them on the plane and getting here about, being in this pretty dire situation?
Well, I think the mood is good. We've still got plenty to play for. And, yesterday was a travel day, so we didn't do anything. So it's not like we've spent a lot of time together. Today we'll watch the film and go through practice and talk about the things we can clean up. But the mood's good. We have an amazing opportunity and challenge, and we're going to do everything we can to meet that challenge, and we're excited about it.
Davide on the right.
Coach, Davide Chinellato, Gazzetta Italy. I'm sure you're not going to share many details about this, but I'm curious. With a player of the magnitude of Kevin and the thing is going on, do you prepare two different game plans, one with him and one without him? How does it work from a coach point of view?
Yeah. The game plan changes if Kevin's out there or if he's not. So you adapt accordingly. It changes matchups, it changes rotations, all that stuff. But that's true. All regular season you deal with that. So you're constantly adapting and adjusting according to who's available.
How did Looney come through the other night? And then
Looney?
Yeah.
Yeah, very well.
And you, DeMarcus has struggled the last couple. Is this something you're looking at, the 5 spot?
We just look at everything game to game, and in terms of matchups, combinations. One of the things that's been a bit of a struggle with the injuries is just finding the right combinations in terms of the numbers that we have and how many minutes guys are playing, and so we're just trying to find patterns that can help everybody who's out on the floor. And go from there. And I think last game, even though it was frustrating, I think last game was a step forward, getting Klay and Loon back. I think we have a little better sense of what we can do and where we can go as guys get healthier.
Right here in the front row.
Arjun Ram, CBC Kids News. Coach Kerr, can you describe for me the feeling of starting off as a kid player, moving on to a professional player, and now to a professional NBA coach?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I watched the NBA. I watched the players, the games. I remember one of my first memories was watching the Lakers pour champagne on each other. When they won the title with Wilt Chamberlain. I'm going to need a little help. 71? Anybody? All you old people out there. Let's hear it from the geriatrics. What year was that? 72. The Lakers, so the Lakers won in 72. I was six and a half years old. And I watched all those players pouring champagne on each other. And I thought, that looks like the most fun anybody could possibly have. And so as I got older and continued to fall in love with the game, I dreamt of being able to do that. And then I got a little older and wiser, and I realized I'm never going to get to do that. I'm not good enough. And so I really didn't expect to play or to coach in the NBA. So it's all kind of literally been a dream come true. I know people say that offhandedly, but that's really the truth. It really seemed like a dream, and it's come true. So thanks for the question.
No problem.
Clarification for the Lakers were 69 and 13. The Bulls won 70.
Raymond will be next. Save your questions for him.
Any other questions for Coach? Last question on the back right. Monty on 3.
Monty Poole, NBC Sports Bay Area. Steve, the other night in Game 4, the first quarter defense was phenomenal, took a lot of energy. Just wondering, though, as good as Kevin is, if he's able to go, just having the extra body make a difference in terms of the energy required to defend this team?
For sure. So that's what we're hoping is the case, but we'll see. But there's no doubt all that stuff matters. I think we just keep saying we got to just play with whoever's out there, and that's the truth. But it's last game was with Klay and Loon was a much better indicator of our team than Game 3 was, and so we had a better opportunity, and we were more competitive. We didn't get it done, but you get to feel more like yourself as a team, and the rotations stay similar and all that stuff. So that's what we're hoping for, but we'll see how it all plays out.
Did you sense that there was the team fell off a little bit after halftime, though, in terms of energy?
Yeah, I thought late third quarter, our energy waned and our focus waned. We made a lot of defensive mistakes that seemed born from just the frustration and maybe fatigue just from, we're playing guys heavy minutes and all that stuff. That's why I'm pleased that there's been 2 days, or there will be 2 days before the next game, and the next couple after that, if we can keep extending the series. And as we get healthier and have some time to heal and rest, I like our chances. So we'll see what happens.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Coach. Take first question right here in the second row.
Klay Wesley Addy from Summit D Sports. We all know about Game 6 Klay, but there might not be a Game 6. Are we going to see a Game 5 Klay instead now?
You're going to see me, and you're going to see me being myself. And you're just going to see a resilient Warrior team. We've been our backs against the wall before with this same group. I mean, even last year being down 3-2. Obviously, it's a little more daunting being down 3-1, but usually when our back's against the wall, we respond the best. So hopefully I'll add another part to whatever legacy you want to carve out for me tomorrow, Game 5 Klay, whatever. But I just want to come out, if I compete to the best of my ability, I'll be satisfied with the results. No
Over
problem.
here on left side.
Hey, Klay, Trista Crick, USA Today. Two-part question. Just going off of your comment about resiliency, what do you think the biggest key to being resilient is?
The biggest key, I think there's two of them. It's focus and passion. The talent side, the skill, the putting the ball in the hoop, that'll take care of itself, especially when we play with more passion than the other team. We play with a great focus. That's when you see the best type of basketball in the world from us. And it starts with our leaders tomorrow, including myself, and we'll come in the arena with the right mindset.
And then the second part is exactly around focus. We spoke with Kyle and Steve, and they particularly spoke around their adversity in their life, not around basketball, and that's what keeps them focused on the present. For you, how do you particularly stay living moment to moment?
Well, that's a great question. I just try to enjoy the journey, and it's been a very long one since we've been on this, championship run. And it started way back, 2014. So you wish to have no one in sight, but everything that's great always comes to an end. So whether that's tomorrow or 4 years from now, you never know. That's the beauty of life. So you just got to go out and enjoy every minute you do with the group of guys you got, because it's in professional sports, nothing's ever guaranteed. And you can, look back on any professional league and see that there's so many examples in the history of the sport. So that's what keeps me in the present moment.
And in the front.
Klay and Killian with the San Francisco Chronicle. Can you just give us an update on how you felt immediately after the game, how you're feeling now, and what, you had said you would play at 80%. What percent do you think you're going to be at tomorrow night?
I felt, did not feel good after the game. I'm a little sore, but just more mentally and emotionally, just kind of, it sucks losing at this stage. Any finals loss is hard, so you got to digest that. But physically, I feel great. Like I said, I was like 80% the other night, so I'll be inching closer to 90 to closer to 100, hopefully by tomorrow. And everyone's banged up out there. I'm sure the Raptors got guys who aren't feeling well. You just gotta rely on your will and your teammates, and you'll get the job done.
Davide on the right.
Klay. Davide Chinellato, Gazzetta Italy. Coach Kerr just said there's a chance KD might be back. My question is, what did you see in him in these days that he's been away from the team, he's been out? And as a player just back from an injury, you missed the game. How do you leave those moments in which you can help your team?
It's the hardest part about being an athlete is going through injuries, especially when your team's playing for a championship. It sucks. I feel for Kevin. I know what type of competitor he is, and we obviously miss him dearly. But whether it's tomorrow or Game 6, we just got to do everything in our willpower to help him get back. And if that's win a game and be patient, then we got to go do that. But he will be very welcome, I'll say that much. I think it's pretty easy to realize we obviously miss him out there, and he's propelled us to 2 championships in the last 2 years. So be pretty storybook if he come back and help us do the same. But injuries are the hardest part of sports, and you just got to play through them, and not play through them, but manage the injury. It's tough. I mean, I went through it. Kevin's is much more serious than all of ours, and I know how badly he wants to be out there. He's one of the best competitors I've ever been around.
Mark in the third row on the right.
Mark Schwartz, ESPN. Hi, Klay. You guys were down in a similar situation in the conference final against Oklahoma City a few years back. How much did that experience help you in this, and what is the difference between this situation and that one?
I mean, what I remember from that is just the same I'm feeling now. It's just basketball, and you just got to go get one to start. And I'm using the motivation of bringing one back to Oakland to help. We feel like the city of Oakland deserves one more game at least. So if we want that to happen, we got to go out and take care of business tomorrow. And I was also on the other side, 3-1, losing a lead. So I try to reference that standpoint, how I was feeling back then. Maybe I don't know if the Raptors are feeling this, but you feel very confident. All you got to do is win one. And so you see both sides. And how is it similar? I mean, both teams, that OKC team and this Raptor team, are very similar as far as their length, athleticism, star power. And you just got to take it one game at a time.
Thank you, Klay. Steph Curry will be next. Mark, first question on third row on 1.
Steph, Mark Schwartz, ESPN. You guys have seen a lot of ups and you've seen some downs over this 5-year run. How do you describe this particular challenge and compare it to anything else that you guys have ever faced?
I don't know. I think this is... It's just thinking about, what's happening now. It's hard to kind of compare just because all my mental energy and whatnot is focused on the task, at hand right now. Being down 3-1 in the finals where we haven't been in this position before, but I guess in the finals, but playing OKC and the whole 2016 run where we were on both sides of this equation, you can kind of relive those experiences, understand what the emotions were like, and how important literally every possession of those potential closeout games were on both ends, and what it took for those comebacks to happen. But for us, it's just a matter, can you win one basketball game right now? Can you go out tomorrow, play an amazing 48 minutes, quiet this crowd that's going to be probably unbelievable tomorrow, slow down a team that's been playing amazing especially these last 2 games, and just win one basketball game and take it from there. And if we focus on that mission, our history kind of speaks for itself in terms of being able to get that done. Just win one basketball game, and then we'll worry about the rest.
Davide, next row back.
Steph, Davide Chianellato, Gazzetta Italy. Coach Kerr just said there's a chance KD might be playing tomorrow after all. My question is, how did you see him during this process, him being out, and how your way of playing is going to change if he's back, considering he's probably not going to be at 100%?
I don't think my style will change much at all. It's just having another powerful weapon out there that can do some very dynamic things on the floor, and we'll be able to adjust and transition pretty smoothly. He's been in plenty of finals and has played well, and no matter what percentage he's at, I'm sure he'll be impactful and effective out there. But again, for myself or anybody in our rotation who's been playing a lot of minutes, we just have to be aggressive and smart and competitive, especially on the defensive end. And the rest should take care of itself.
Ann here in the front.
Steph and Killian with the San Francisco Chronicle. I'm just wondering, as the leader of the team, can you assess the vibe around the team, the mindset going into this situation?
I think after Game 4, it was a tough vibe in the locker room, just because you lose 2 in a row at home. Nobody likes that feeling at all, especially in the finals, and it's kind of a little self-reflection of what do we need to do and what do we need to correct for us to stay alive. But I wouldn't say we're down at all. It's mostly just we're anxious for tomorrow to get out there and play a great basketball game. And I think we're confident in that fact that we can do that. And the best bet for us is just to block out as much noise as possible. Have a great practice today where we hone in on the details that we need to correct and really come with the right mindset of the energy and effort we need to play with our backs against the wall. And again, like I kind of said earlier, we know we can do it. It's just a matter of proving it.
Michael over here.
Steph, Michael Grange from Sportsnet. This idea of how important it is to take it one possession, one game, blocking out the noise, does that come naturally? Is that something that you can't imagine being any other way, or is it something you've really had to practice and learn and get better at?
It definitely comes with experience for sure. 'Cause you could say it, but in terms of you don't know how hard it is to do that at this stage and at this level. But having been here 5 straight times and been through all type of experiences and different styles of play, different paces, playing against amazing talents and that we've had, and even now with the way that Toronto's been playing these last 2 games, like it's just a matter of just buckling down and figuring it out. So it's easier for us to say that because we have been through so many experiences, and I think the confidence that we can flip that switch and no matter what's happened the last 2 games, be world beaters on tomorrow from the jump is definitely something that we can do and execute. But it does help having been on the back end of this 5-year journey where we've seen so much and been in a lot of different atmospheres and different pressures and expectations that we can lock in on just strictly 48 minutes. The context of it all, it really doesn't matter. It's just win one basketball game and take it from there.
Dan on your right.
Steph, Dan Wicke with the Los Angeles Times. Along those lines, in a 3-1 series in a Game 5, how much of it is sort of tricking yourself if you're up to play with urgency, and if you're down to not look at sort of we have to win 3, but it's 1? Is this more of a mental test, Game 5s?
I mean, yeah, considering how tough the last 2 games were, you can't lose your identity and certain things that have made us successful over the course of this run. I don't think we need to reinvent the wheel by any stretch of like these huge adjustments or anything. It's just looking at these last 2 games, Game 3 and 4, where we lost them were these 4 to 6 minute mini runs that Toronto went on, and where they put a lot of pressure on us just by how efficient they've been on the offensive end and felt like they could get any shot that they wanted to. And obviously the way that they're defending us was trying to create good offense on those possessions to kind of go back at them. We haven't done it, so that's really it. You know, can you see the picture and envision what we need to do out there and turn that into reality by executing it? We have high IQ guys that I feel like won't be rattled by the pressure of that situation because you know, a couple missed shots here and there, you can start to think like, oh, this might not be our night or stuff like that. That can't creep in. It has to be, you know, in spite of whatever happens, Game 5, just get the job done, no matter how pretty or ugly it is.
Arash over here.
Steph, to your left, Arash Madain with Sportsnet. You mentioned in practice today working on detail or two without divulging state secrets. Could you just elaborate on what you think a couple of the details that need to be cleaned up are?
Mostly just defensively in terms of the stuff that they've done to create, you know, good looks on the offensive end, whether it's communication on our switches or rotations out of traps or, you know, a simple detail is just in boxing out when a shot goes up. You know, those are valuable possessions in a pivotal game like a Game 5 when you're down 3-1. So we just have to have everybody in the same mindset, on the same page, and the mental focus you need to have. It starts in practice, again, envisioning what that's going to look like. Everybody marinating on it for the next 24 hours, and then going out and getting the job done.
Thank you, Steph. This concludes. Practice will be open for the next few minutes. Thank you.